Miss Des. Sorry I did not get to this yesterday. I really apologize, but glad we are here this morning. So let's get this going. So I'm going to look over here at my other screen and I'm going to answer the questions here. So here we go. So the first question is, hello, as you know, I sell foundations to women of color, especially African American and African descendants, women and men. In light with everything happening with Black Lives Matter and the refocus of the black population to spend dollars with black-owned businesses, how can I make more sales with a tight budget? Okay, this is probably the number one question of every startup entrepreneur. How do I do things when I don't have that much money? Well, the cheapest type of sales-related activities is for you to get on the phone, for you to send direct messages, for you to send emails, for you to send any type to do anything that doesn't cost you any money. There are activities like that. You know, I know that we forget because especially the younger generation just thinks that we just throw some advertising dollars at things and we make money, but never forget that it doesn't cost you any money to use this phone to make a phone call. Okay, it doesn't cost you any money, right? All you gotta do is dial, hey, my name is Des and I'd like to sell you some foundation. Are you interested in buying? That's the cheapest type of advertising you can do. With that said, as we talked about on our onboarding call, it's very important when you are building your brand that you know who your target customers are. You know, it's very dangerous to say, my target market is African American women who use foundations, because it's really hard to talk to the African women of the world. It's easier to go, I'm looking for somebody in this city, in this state that connects with this, does like get as detailed as you can, and then Des, go find those women. Go talk to those women. Don't be afraid to get relationships going with those women. If you feel confident in your product, then you should be very confident talking to people about your product and explaining what it does. Now, when you're doing this, though, you're going to want to know about all the other options and choices that those women have when it comes to buying foundation for themselves, because they're buying something now, probably, right? Well, what are they buying? So in the sales process, you want to ask questions. And in Tom's Pro Code Sales videos in the portal, he talks about this. There's a video called The Importance of Asking Questions. You want to find out what they're using now. What do they like about it? What do they not like about it? What would they like to see better? Would they be interested in changing and trying something new? If they were going to try something new, how would they find that? Ask questions in order to determine what you would have to do to get that person to buy your foundation. And maybe you put together a special offer. Buy one as a trial, and then if and then continue your sales process there. But I think it's great to want to take advantage of the Black Lives Matter movement in that people are trying to support black business owners, but I think that that's short term, and I wouldn't count on that making you millions of dollars. I think it's a great trend that's going on right now. I think it's fantastic, but people are going to buy long term and become long term customers of yours because they want your product and it's going to benefit them. They might throw you a couple dollars now just because of Black Lives Matter, but long term they gotta love your product, and that's the long term play here. So sure, take advantage of the short term trend, but play for the long term. So this is a great time for you to get out there and start advertising your business by talking to people. The cheapest form of advertisement is conversation. Okay, I hope that answers your question on that one. The next question is, when I spoke with Shawn, he told me to move my products to a fulfillment center in the USA. I have about 200 pieces of our foundation in New York City right now, and I've reached out to a few fulfillment centers that require a $500 cash deposit. Knowing that my business is cash intensive, especially if we are developing a new product, I wonder if I should just do it or if I should be looking for fulfillment without a deposit. You know, I don't know if you were able to talk to Joel Gandera about this. I thought that I introduced you. If I didn't, I'm going to forward this email over to Joel to see if he can give you some advice. But I remember that I talked to you about this. Whenever you're doing very, very low volume, then it's very difficult to work out relationships with some of these providers because they have customers that are doing much more volume and paying, and they're making more money. This is always the cat and mouse game that goes on. I'm pausing because I really feel for business owners like yourself that are trying to get into business and you just have no money. And I know how frustrating that is. I know how frustrating it is. But the bottom line is we can't do what isn't available to us. And so right now, if you don't have the money to move into a 3PL for them to help you with your shipping, then it's really going to matter if your customers are going to be okay paying that additional shipping cost to ship it from Canada or from wherever else you're shipping it. And maybe this means that you have to change your business model and only sell to people that are around you. I mean, you got to find solutions. I know this is so hard to understand, but you have to find solutions that are going to work for the limitations that you have on your business. Your limitations are you're trying to get into business and you have no money. That is so hard these days. If I sat down and I worked with you day in and day out for a month or two, I could probably help you find the solutions because that's something I'm really good at, but I would charge you 10 grand for that. Des, I'm feeling for you. I feel for you and every other entrepreneur that wants to do business, but you're on a very, very limited budget. When I started my last company, I was on that limited budget. But the great thing that I had going for me is I picked a business that I didn't have a high cost of doing. Like, I could get on the phone and make a sale, get money from a customer, go buy the product, and then fulfill it. It wasn't e-commerce, but I didn't need that much money. I just knew I needed my salesmanship and the ability to make connections. Yours is in a whole different situation. You're in a product type business. Gosh, I'm just getting frustrated just for you just talking about this. Quite frankly, I just can't imagine with only 200 pieces, if you mean like 200 individual like eyeliners or foundations, I probably would not think that would be enough of a volume that would warrant you using a 3PL in the United States. I think it would be better for you to find a niche of people that are going to buy your product on a larger scale basis, and then it would be wise. This would be a great conversation for Joel. I'm going to make sure that Joel answers this question because this is a great question, and he might be able to help you with this. Here in the United States, we have flea markets. We have all kinds of things that people buy stuff, but I don't know how to sell makeup, so I'm just not the best person to sell makeup. Sorry I can't give you more on that, but I'm just stressed over here for you. The next question is he said, when talking with Shawn, he felt my branding was lacking. Okay, first off, when you send questions in, I get the questions, so you don't have to say when talking to Shawn, like I get all these. So when talking to Shawn, he felt my branding was lacking cohesiveness. I would love to make sure my brand stands out even more. Do I need to find an agency that understands my target market and can develop something? How do I go about doing that? Yes, we did talk about this, and I do believe that you have a good start to your brand. And I thought I connected you with Paul. I'm going to forward this question over to Paul and introduce you to Paul. I think most creative agencies are going to be able to get you what you need from a brand style guide and a brand strategy, which will help your business. But once again, you're going to need money for that as well. I don't know what you're doing to make money on a daily basis. I can't remember. I apologize. But if you're not doing everything you can every day, working 18 hours a day, making money, doing something to keep fueling your business, I would highly advise you to do it. I used to wait on tables on the graveyard shift and make that extra $75 to $120 just so I could invest in my business. So that's just part of what it is. Today it's a little easier because there's Uber and DoorDash and all the delivery companies and things like that you can work at, on all kinds of different hours to make money. But I certainly hope that you're trying to bring money in every day as well. Yes. I think that you should get an agency. I'll hook you up with Paul. I think right now you're not going to have the budget to work with a big agency that might be able to help you on massive creative for branding for a full makeup line. You're talking about $50,000 to $100,000 to work with a really, really big agency that does that. But right now, you can at least clean up your branding, get your strategy correct, figure out who your ideal client is, so that you can determine where to find them. And that might cost you a couple $1,000s for the strategy session that you and I talked about. And it might cost you around $5,000 for the getting your brand style guide completely cohesive, so that you then have a strategy going forward on how to use your branding elements. So yes, I'll hook you up with Paul on that. All right, I think that was the last question. Let me see. Yeah, that was the last question. I'm really sorry I didn't get to it yesterday, Des. Listen, girl, I feel for you 100%. You are a strong woman. You're getting into an industry that is with the most shark-infested waters, makeup and beauty. I'm going to get Tony to answer this question for you as well, because Tony has a fashion brand and he knows 100% what it takes from a branding perspective and the type of money that's needed. It takes a lot. And so I commend you for being strong enough to go after it. And if it just means that you go after it slowly, you keep building up your sales and building up your long-term customers, that's what it takes. And I know you can do it. All right. I hope that answers your question. Feel free to ask some more questions, or in the comment section here on Facebook, feel free to give me some dialogue if you've got some dialogue that you want to do. And while I'm on here, I don't see any comments. Would somebody write a comment that's watching this? One of you that's watching it, can you just say something so I can see what the chat session looks like on one of these? Just say hi, or Shawn, you look great today. Your hair is looking really good today. Just say something if you're watching. So I'm trying to see. I can't see any of the chats going here. There. Okay, cool. Thanks, Emily. I appreciate that. Okay, the chat's on the left side of the computer. Okay, great. All right. So I think that if anybody else watches this on the replay, so Emily, you might want to chime in here. Whoever's watching right now, do you know how Des is feeling being on a limited budget, trying to grow her company and figure out how to handle that? Can anybody relate to that? You know, if there's any things that you have done as a member and an entrepreneur in your business to try to stretch that almighty dollar, give some ideas in the comment section here. It would be great to hear from other people that are doing it and show your creativity. Okay? All right. I hope you guys have a great day, morning, or night, wherever you are in the world, and I will see you guys later. Peace out.